We do have, hold on, I'm sorry. We do have a couple of housekeeping things to do before we get into the agenda as it relates to any questions. So City Clerk, if you could explain, please.
Okay. I sent Mayor and Council an email in regards to the new Senate bill that was passed, Senate Bill 1108. And so when I called the roll today, if you can please state your location of where you are attending the meeting virtually, we will need to have that included for the minutes where you are attending the meeting virtually.
Is there any
Mr.
questions?
Mayor, if I could,
Please.
and for those members who are attending a meeting at their home, we're not suggesting you have to give your home address, just the city and state that you're presently located in.
Good. Thanks for the clarification. All right. Then moving into the agenda for tonight, as it relates to previous business, we're asking that 2 items be removed from the table and then tabled again. The first is the amendment for the marijuana ordinance, the business license process. We still haven't gotten all the way through planning. That won't happen until October the 26th. So we're asking for that to be tabled. Also, too, as it relates to the consideration for the administration for the vehicles, we're asking that item be removed from the table and then retabled to after we have our budget session, which is going to be on October the 28th at 6 p.m. We're asking that we would be allowed to come back with a few different options, as we've heard from this council, and as it relates to vehicle purchase, and then of course make sure that we actually have it in the budget. So, you know, I'm just taking responsibility for all of this as it relates to putting the cart before the horse. We should have actually had an actual budget amendment done first, approved by council, and then brought before you items for your consideration. We did not do a PO as it relates to a PO for the actual purchase of the vehicles. So we do not have a PO, but what we do have is we do have a quote for vehicles and the specifics of the vehicles. So I'm working directly with the dealers myself. As it relates to the process, we finite in the process. All vehicle sales will actually go through Mr. Bivens from here on out, of course, in the treasurer, and they'll be presented as such. So we're just asking that those 2 items be removed from the table. If you want to discuss them, we can, but for the sake of time, we got a lot of stuff on our agenda. I would actually
Mr. Mayor, sorry to interrupt you. Also, can we add Allen Brothers and their invoice? There are 2 invoices that went out to council today. They need to be added to the agenda under the consent agenda as item B.
And that's the pleasure of this council.
Okay.
Does anybody have a problem with that? All right, hearing none. Any questions as it relates to tonight's agenda outside of the 2 items that I mentioned? Go ahead, sir.
David had cut out. I didn't hear what he had responded to concerning the new act. Can he repeat that over?
Oh yeah, no problem. Go ahead, David.
Yes, give me a second. I'm gonna put my earphones in and that be better. I don't know if everyone can hear me. Give me 1 second.
Okay.
Okay, as the clerk indicated, the passage of House Bill 1108 was recently passed, which allows municipalities and public bodies to continue meeting virtually for the sake of the health and welfare of various residents. In the new bill, it requires that any members of a public body attending remotely must in fact indicate where they are located. They must make a public announcement at the outset of the meeting, which would be prior to 7 o'clock in this instance, and it included in the minutes that the members who are, which is all of the members here, who are appearing remotely must state where they are. And that does not mean if you're at home, you have to indicate your home address. It just means you are in the city of Inkster or wherever you may be, state of Michigan. I was just clarifying that a home address did not have to be given.
No,
Okay.
David,
Yeah.
is this for council meetings only or all meetings, or is the body?
All meeting of public bodies.
Okay.
Yeah, for all meetings that are being conducted virtually.
Okay.
Okay, yeah,
So
'cause
for instance, go ahead, Councilman Shaw.
yeah, because it said on the email, i.e. Inkster. So do we have to just say Inkster, Michigan? I mean, just,
Yes, that's sufficient.
all right. Thank you, sir. That's all I have.
Doing roll call. All right. All right. Any other questions as it relates to tonight's agenda? All right, hearing none. David, do we have anything for a closed session?
Yes, we will have closed session items to discuss the McGill matter, the Blackwell matter, and the Crowder matter, CROWDER.
All right. Is there a motion to go into closed session?
Motion to go in closed session.
Support.
It's been moved and properly supported. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Shaw,
Yes. Inkster, Michigan.
Councilmember Williams,
Yeah.
Councilmember Mayor Pro Tem Howard.
Yes, are we supposed to state that we're in?
Not doing a vote, but just the roll call when we do our roll call, when we do our attendance for
Okay.
the regular meeting.
Okay,
Roll
yes.
call, so I wasn't for sure what she doing.
Okay, I got you, Councilman Shaw, but it's during, when I call you for the roll for the meeting, for that in your attendance role, being that kind of role, okay. And Mayor Pro Tem Howard,
Yes.
Councilmember Washington,
Yes.
Member Wiley,
Yes.
and Councilmember Chisholm.
Yes.
Mayor, we have 6 yeas.
All right. We're going into closed session and we'll be out at the top of the meeting, hopefully before. Take us on, Troy. Thank you. I want to make sure that we stay on time for the general meeting. At the same time, this is, of course, our first time actually doing this virtually as it relates to the orientation session and having public participation. During this time, if it's anyone in the general public that would like to ask a question regarding tonight's agenda, understanding that we do have 2 items that will be tabled. The items that are our previous business that have already been tabled, we're just going to remove them from the table and we're going to retable them. So we won't necessarily be discussing those things tonight because item A on previous business, consider amendments to amend the City of Inkster Code for marijuana business license. We don't necessarily have all of the things out of planning that we need as it relates to zoning and the ordinance changes to be able to present to council. So we're not at the planning stages until October the 26th. And as it relates to the approval for the administration for the cars for the police department, we're going to actually go through our physical responsibility session, which is on October the 28th at 6 p.m. I encourage all of you to tune in during that time. We'll be actually going through the budget as we're coming in about a quarter of the way into the budget for the year. So we'll be discussing those items and then we'll be seeing if we have any money to be able to do something as it relates to vehicles. So besides those 2 items, if there's any other items on the agenda for new business that you want to discuss at this time, you may ask those questions. Now, Steve, if you give them instructions, we got about 20 minutes. I would say actually let's do about 15 minutes. And when we save ourselves 5 minutes going into general session. Sure. Give folks instructions if they want to chime in about something on the agenda for the new business. For the general public. Yeah, for general public. And Troy, maybe we put the agenda up if you can. And let's scroll down to new business. I don't know if it's going to help the general public, but let's do that. Yeah. Go ahead, a little bit more, sir. Okay. All right. All right, if we see any hands, let's recognize those hands. We're just gonna, again, we're gonna discuss now also too, we could use this time for public participation. If anybody had anything for the general public, for us to know as a body, you can say it at this time because this meeting is being recorded. So if you would like to raise your hand for public participation during this time, you can.
And it's star 6 for the general public, so raise your hand to be recognized. Oh, I'm sorry. It's star 6 mutes and unmutes you. Star 9 is to raise your hand. My apologies. You know what? Also, I don't see any hands raised, but not that many people, if you recall, can see the agenda if we're not live on Facebook yet because of the different security protocols we put in place.
Right.
So only those
actually, and that's a good point. And Troy's actually doing. He's working on right now with our signal here at City Hall.
Yeah,
signal. Yeah.
We just had one hand came up.
Yep. Know that hand. Go ahead.
Ready.
Go ahead, caller. Announce your name and.
It might still be going through. There's often a delay. Oh, there.
Hi, yes, this is Charles Blackwell. I wanted to know, can I speak about the Allen Brothers invoice that was just added onto the agenda?
Yes, sir. What's your question?
I more per se have a statement. I wanted to state that I had emailed all of you all an offer of how we could settle the FOIA lawsuit and the Open Meetings Act lawsuit, I believe, at a very reasonable offer. And I have not heard back from you all. And it's probably because Attorney Jones has advised you to fight this out to the very end. But I think that the city would end up wasting thousands and thousands of dollars of the taxpayers' money, despite the city violating the FOIA Act and the Open Meetings Act. So that's just all that I wanted to state.
Thank you, sir. All right. We're working on our signal here at City Hall. Troy's diligently working on that. So those of you that can't necessarily view us and see us on our Facebook stream live, we're definitely trying to make that happen. Just trying our signal for whatever reason is bad right now. All right. Okay, well, Council, look like we have a few more minutes before the general meeting starts. We want to start right at 7 o'clock. Now, what we are going to do, you have Father Clifton on the line. He's going to do our prayer today. And I would like to do a presentation for him at our next council meeting, which is on November. Felicia, that's what we're talking about doing on November the 2nd?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So we'll have a presentation for him during that time as it relates to his service here in the city. As most of you know, he's retiring and moving on to greener pastures, but we wanted to make sure that we recognized all of this, the work that he's done for us within the community. And of course, he's here tonight for us to lead us in prayer as we go into our meeting. So the council, if you don't have anything else right now, City Council, looking at the general public and offering them a chance to talk during this time, let's start the meeting right on at 7 o'clock, 6:45 right now. I'd like to welcome everyone to another virtual meeting of the Inkster City Council. Regular session. I'd like to call this meeting to order. Would you all stand with me and pledge allegiance to the flag? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. If you could remain standing, Father Clifton is on the line.
He's on here. He's unmuted now.
All right, perfect. And Father Clifton, if you please lead us in a word of prayer, please.
Thank you, Mayor, and thank you, Council, for having me this evening. Let us pray. O Lord, our Governor, whose glory is in all the world, once again we commend this city of Inkster to your righteous and merciful care, that being guided in your ways, we may become a community living in unity and with love, decency, and respect for one another and for you. Give to Patrick, our mayor, and to Sandra, Stephen, Legina, Denard, George, and Kim, our city council, the wisdom and strength to know you and to do your will, and to deal with each other and the people of this city with openness and honesty, so that the people of this city can benefit from your hard work and oftentimes difficult times and thought and process, and that the peace that comes only from you will be this city's reality. To those who are employed by the city, give them your motivating guidance, so as they go about satisfying the daily demands of their duties, they may be made aware of the importance of their work, and that they may pursue this work with charity and with graciousness. As always, we commend to your guidance and keeping all those who serve in law enforcement, to those who serve as firefighters, and to those who offer health services to the people of Inkster. Defend them day by day with your heavenly grace, protect their families, strengthen them in their trials, give them courage to face the perils which beset them, and grant them a sense of your abiding presence as they serve. We pray that all who visit this city may find in us the radical invitation and welcome you call us to offer. We also come to you as a people in continuous need of your ever-healing presence and guidance. As we prepare to enter the season of celebrations of the coming months, we pray that these blessings be upon each of us in this city and throughout the world. May those who live with some measure of prosperity show thanks to you by sharing that which comes through your gracious provision. May those who are in need and receive your most gracious gifts accept and utilize them with grateful hearts. May the factions that live in discord with one another throughout this world and even within this city be led into ways of your ongoing and abiding peace. And may those of us who live in despair, loneliness, fear, and to those who grieve, may we be open to the consolation of your love. And finally, in this final prayer that I offer within the city of Inkster, I once again give you these petitions of the Celtic blessing, which really, really fit the times that we're in. To all of you, the city of Inkster, especially our leadership, may God bless you with a restless discomfort about easy answers, half-truths, and superficial relationships, that you may seek truth boldly and love deep within your heart. May God bless you with holy anger at injustice and oppression and exploitation of people, so that you may tirelessly work for justice and freedom and peace and the well-being of all people. May God bless you with the gift of tears to shed for those who suffer from pain, rejection, starvation, or the loss of all that they cherish, so that you may reach out your hand to comfort them and transform their pain into joy. And may God bless you with enough foolishness to believe that each and every one of you can really make a difference in this city of Inkster, so that you are able, with God's grace, to do what others claim cannot be done, and to accomplish those things in spite of those who try to stand in the way of your effort. And now I part, my friends, offering you the blessing of God Almighty, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. May that blessing be upon you now and forevermore. Let us all say, Amen.
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 Oh, powerful. Thank you so much, Father Clifton. And we will be doing a presentation for you in your service on November the 2nd at our council meeting.
All
Thank
right.
you so much. Bless your heart.
Thank
All
you.
right, roll call, please.
Mayor Wimberly.
Here in Inkster at City Hall.
Thank you. Councilwoman Wiley.
She got to
Council-
unmute.
Okay. Councilwoman Wiley.
We know she's here.
I'll come back to Councilwoman Wiley. Councilwoman Washington.
Present in Inkster, Michigan.
Councilman Shaw.
Here, Inkster, Michigan.
Mayor Pro Tem Howard.
Here, Inkster, Michigan.
Councilman Williams.
Here, Inkster, Michigan.
And Councilman Chisholm.
Participating remotely from my home in Inkster.
I think I'm ready now.
Okay, Councilwoman Wiley.
Yes, I'm attending this meeting remotely from my home in Inkster, Michigan.
Okay, Mayor, we have 7 present tonight, and we do have a quorum.
All right, perfect. And if you just could, just for the general public, just explain to them why we had to do that. City Clerk.
Yes, there's been an a change to the Open Meetings Act through December 31st, 2020, in regards to having virtual meetings. The city is able to have virtual meetings. One of the stipulations is that the elected officials have to state where they are attending the meeting, their location remotely, not a physical actual address, but what city, where they are attending the meeting.
Thank you so very much, City Clerk, for that clarification. Approval of the agenda with the addition to the consent agenda for the Allen Brothers. What is that? Can you please read it into the record as it relates to the dates, please?
Yes, it will be item B, and it will be the Allen Brothers and Attorneys PLLC invoice for $38,201.06 and for $3,100. And they sent clarification in regards to why there were 2 bills.
All right, looking for a motion to approve the agenda.
So move.
Your support?
Support.
Roll call, please.
Councilmember Chisholm.
Yes.
Councilmember Watley.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Howard.
Yes.
Councilmember Washington.
Yes.
Councilmember Williams.
Yes.
And Councilmember Shaw.
Yes.
Mayor, we have 6 yeas.
All right, agenda is approved. Presentation will be moving into next week. Public hearing, consent agenda. What's your pleasure? There a motion for the consent agenda?
So move.
Support.
Roll call, please.
Councilmember Williams.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Howard.
Yes.
Councilmember Washington.
Yes.
Councilmember Shaw.
Yes.
Councilmember Chisholm.
Yes.
And Councilmember Watley.
Yes.
We have 6 yeas, Mayor, I'm sorry.
All right, motion carries. Moving right along. Boards and commissions. Anyone? Anyone for boards and commissions? Okay, maybe you guys are looking through it, but I want to put forth Yvonne Moore for resident representative on the Housing Commission. Do I have a motion and support?
I make a motion that we approve Yvonne Moore to the Inkster
Inkster Housing Commission.
Yes, I'm sorry, you didn't hear me. Inkster Housing Commission.
Support.
Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Councilmember Wiley,
Yes.
Councilmember Washington,
Yes.
Councilmember Chisholm,
Yes.
Councilmember Williams,
yes,
Councilmember Mayor Pro Tem Howard,
Yes.
Councilmember Shaw.
Yes,
Mayor, we have 6 yeas.
All right, motion carries. Congratulations, Ms. Moore. We look forward to your continued service. All right, we're having some feedback here on the, I don't know if it's just if it's anyone else, I'm having some tremendous feedback from a device. So, all right, I would like to appoint Tricia Bond Johnson to the Beautification Commission. Do I have a motion and support?
So move.
Is there support?
Support.
Any discussion? Are you hearing none? Roll call, please.
Councilmember Shaw,
yes,
Mayor Pro Tem Howard,
Yes.
Councilmember Williams,
yes,
Councilmember Chisholm,
Yes.
Councilmember Washington,
Yes.
and Councilmember Wiley.
I'm sorry, I heard the name and everything, but do we have a packet from her?
I believe I do have some packet from her first, prior to some other boards and commissions she wanted to sit on in the past.
Okay, well, as long as we can see that, yes,
Sure.
yes.
All right, motion carries. All right, any others?
Mr. Mayor, you did have an Ashley Williams to the Beautification Commission,
Yeah.
and Yolanda Lockett to the Beautification Commission, and Mr. Don Jones. It can be one motion, needs to be appointed to the Condemnation and Construction Board of Appeals.
Okay, let's do that though. Let's do Don for sure.
Okay.
So what do I need to do?
Just make a motion for, I can read it for you, for Don Jones, who is the building official, to be appointed to the Condemnation Board and the Construction Board of Appeals and Property Maintenance Boards for his tenure.
All right, do I have a motion on that? Someone to pick up that motion?
So move.
Is there support?
Support.
Discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Councilmember Wiley? Councilmember Wiley?
Sorry, yes.
Councilmember Chisholm?
Yes.
Councilmember Williams?
yes,
Councilmember Washington?
Yes.
Councilmember Shaw?
yes,
And Mayor Pro Tem Howard.
Yes.
We have 6 yeas, Mayor.
All right, going into previous business. Again, these the two items that you see before you are on the table right now. In order to conduct the business, we have to remove them from the table, then put them back on the table. So I'm asking for a motion to do that for item A.
Item A is a second reading and approval to consider amendments to amend the City of Inkster Code of Ordinance, Section 124, marijuana business license.
What's your pleasure?
I make the motion that we move from the table.
We need to remove it from the table, or can we just leave it on the table?
You're supposed to remove it from the table and then table it again.
Okay, Robert Rules of Order say that we need to remove it from the table, then table it again.
Yeah.
So can I get support for that?
Support.
Was the motion made by Councilman Shaw?
Yes.
Okay. Any discussion on that? Roll call, please.
Councilmember Wiley?
Yes,
Councilmember Washington?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Howard?
Yes.
Councilmember Shaw?
Yes,
Councilmember Williams?
All right, then now we would like to, and just so for explanation, as it relates to the amendment for the business license, this process hasn't come out of Planning Commission as of yet. So we wanted to have the full package for council to consider coming out of Planning Commission. So the next meeting for Planning Commission is on October the 26th, which is Monday. And then we'll have an orientation session with the full complement of council on Tuesday, the 27th. And then we'll come back on November the 16th. Because of the elections being on November the 3rd, we didn't want to have too much business on that Monday. We'll come back on the 16th for this item. So I'm asking to be put back on the table. Is there a motion for that?
So I make a motion that we table this until October 27th,
Well, actually, no, it'll be November the
November
16th.
16th? Okay,
Yes.
November the 16th.
Their support.
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 Discussion. All right, hearing none. Roll call, please.
Mayor Pro Tem Howard,
Yes.
Councilmember Williams,
Yes.
Councilmember Shaw,
Yes.
Councilmember Chisholm,
Yes.
Councilmember Washington,
Yes.
and Councilmember Wiley.
Yes.
Mayor, we have 6 yeas.
All right, item B, I'm asking the same process for this one as well. We can remove it from the table and then we put it back on the table. Put it back on the table. Again, actually with this particular item, it's like putting the cart before the horse. So we wanted to make sure that we went through our budget process, which is going to be on October the 28th at 6 p.m. as well, for us to talk about our budget, see where we're at in the first quarter, and then look to see if we can even afford vehicles. So this actually, the item was actually put before you prematurely. I take responsibility for that. I asked the police department to get me quotes for vehicles that you saw before you, to ask for an amendment. We haven't purchased any cars. We don't have a purchase agreement with the dealer. Now, from now on, I understand how the process is supposed to work. Well, Jerome Bivens is going to be the person that will be handling pretty much the process as it relates to cars. We know in the past that he was involved. He's the fleet manager. He was involved at first, and then because of the consent agreement, the different departments just kind of start handling their own purchasing. We make sure that the policy is clear and how it should be conducted. So we're gonna make sure that we flush that out, and then we'll bring that back before you, if it makes sense for us after we come out of our budget process. So I'm asking that this item be removed from the table and then tabled again. What's your pleasure?
Okay, Mr. Mayor, this is going to be talked upon. I mean, this is going to be voted on in November the 16th meeting or the next meeting.
Well, what we'll do, Mayor Pro Tem, coming out of October the 28th, which you suggested, for us to look at, the physical budget, talking with Plant Moran and talking to our treasurer to see if we can even afford to, and then we'll come back with options if the council do see fit at that time, because we know we need vehicles. The city does need vehicles for the police department, but we need to, of course, be responsible for the money. So we wanted to make sure out of the study session that it made sense, and then I went out and got you some more options and then brought it back before. So this item, again, is going to be tabled, but it's going to probably look different when it comes back to you.
Okay, so it's going to come back on the 28th or November the 2nd?
Let's say November. Let's say not even,
because it will have to be a special meeting.
Well, the 28th. The 28th
Right.
is going to be our orientation. Not orientation. It's going to be our study session, right?
Right, but right.
For
In
the
order
final.
to vote, in the following, I'm sorry, go ahead.
And then the following meeting is that second, which is
Right.
going to be pretty much, we're trying to keep as much business off of that day as we can because voting is that next day. But it could probably, depending on what comes out of the 28th meeting, we could table it or it just goes away, because we need to figure out if we can use that 50,000 or however, to figure out if we got enough money to be able to sustain it, to support it after we meet. So I don't want to necessarily put a date on it. I guess we could say the November 2nd and then go from there.
Yeah, because if we having a study session on the 28th,
Yes,
it would have to be study session slash special meeting in order
Yeah.
for us to vote.
yeah, well, I don't necessarily, I'm not looking for a vote on the 28th though.
Okay,
We don't need to, we don't want to vote on the 28th. We're just doing a special study. We got a lot to bring before you guys. And then from there, we'll bring it back.
okay.
Mr.
So
Mayor,
we,
and Mayor Pro Tem Howard, I'm sorry, but if it's tabled, it's going to come back on the 2nd as previous business.
okay,
If it doesn't have a date specific tied to it.
okay. So I'll make a motion to, so I have to take it off the table. Make a motion to take off item B, consider to approve authorization for the administration for the purpose of purchasing 4 vehicles.
Is there
Is that
support?
okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Support.
All right. Any other further discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Councilmember Washington,
Yes.
Councilmember Shaw,
Yes.
Councilmember Williams,
Yeah.
Councilwoman Watley,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Howard. Mayor Pro Tem Howard,
Yes,
okay, and Councilmember Chisholm.
Yes.
Mayor, we have 6 yeas.
All right, motion carries. Now I just need to retable it. To retable it. Kim, Mayor Pro Tem, you willing to do that? Retable this, please?
I would like to table item B under previous business, consideration authorized to purchase vehicles.
Is there support?
Support.
Support.
Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Councilmember Shaw,
Yes.
Councilmember Washington,
Yes.
Councilmember Williams,
Yes.
Councilmember Chisholm,
Yes.
Councilmember Watley,
Yes.
and Mayor Pro Tem Howard.
Yes.
Mayor, we have 6 yeas.
All right, motion carries. Jumping into new business.
Item A under new business is consideration and approval of a street closure on Patterson Court between Shadow Lawn on October 31st from 12 o'clock p.m. until 9 o'clock p.m. for a fall festival. The applicant is Lawana Abney Mitchell.
What's your
So
pleasure?
moved.
For support.
It's been moved and properly supported. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Councilmember Washington,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Howard,
Yes.
Councilmember Chisholm,
Yes.
Councilmember Wiley,
Yes.
Councilmember Shaw,
Yes.
and Councilmember Williams.
Yes.
Mayor, we have 6 yeas.
All right, motion carries.
Item B under new business is consideration and approval of a street closure on Oakwood between Central and Western on October 31st, 2020 for a Halloween trunk or treat, and the applicant is Valina Stevens.
All right, what's your pleasure?
So moved.
Support.
It's been moved and properly supported. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Councilmember Wiley,
Yes.
Councilmember Washington,
Yes.
Councilmember Chisholm,
Yeah.
Councilmember Williams,
Yeah.
Mayor Pro Tem Howard,
Yes.
and Councilmember Shaw.
Yes.
Mayor, we have 6 yeas.
All right, motion carries. Item C.
C is consideration and approval authorizing administration to enter into a contract with LGC Global Energy to provide janitorial services at City Hall, Justice Center, Recreation Complex, and Department of Public Services for 3 years with a 1-year option.
What's your pleasure?
So moved.
Is there support? All right, any discussion?
Unreadiness.
Yes.
All right, go ahead, Councilman Chisholm.
I know there were 2 different quotes that got sent out, so I was wondering, is this the one for the 5-day or the 3-day cleaning?
And that's exactly what we need to figure out between the council. So if we can have Mr. Carrington and then Mr. Bivens, or Mr. Bivens chime in and then Mr. Carrington.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Can
Evening,
you
Mr.
hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
So what you have before you tonight, there are two options. One is for a 5-day with the total cost, and one is for a 3-day total cost. Currently, with our current contractor for janitorial service, it's a 3-day contract. So we look at the numbers, and Mr. Karen can speak to the numbers that we will put before these two options, one for 5 days and one for 3 days. With the 5 days, you get more, I mean, we've had some issues over at the several buildings about the 3-day cleaning. It's kind of say it's not quite efficient enough. But I know with the budget constraints of what we operate with, we went with 3 days initially because of the funding. So that's why I presented two options. I gave you a 5-day option if we can squeeze those other 2 days in, and then I gave you the 3-day option, which is what the current contractor was up under. So Mr. Karen can just speak to the numbers. I can roughly tell you if we go with the 5 days, it's about roughly a little over $13,000 increase per year. And if we stay with the 3 days, it's a savings of about $3,000 a year with the upcoming contract that you have before you. So I'll let Mr. Karen speak to the numbers from here.
And then also too, that's more importantly is COVID and cleaning for COVID and the safety of that overall and just being clean. So the 5 days is definitely where we need to be at the same time, Mr. Carrington, we got to find the money. I know that the CARES Act probably would have a little bit of money. We do have a little bit of money with the Bomber Group that gave us a little bit of money. So if you could speak to that, we can move forward.
So as Mr. Bivens indicated, we have two proposals from the selected bidder. Essentially, I think we got a couple items we need to make sure council is understanding. One is what we've currently budgeted for this current fiscal year. We had approximately $70,000 or $70,000 even that was budgeted for the current fiscal year for this service. The numbers that were presented, the 3-day agreement or the 3-day schedule totals out to about $68,000 per year. So that gets us right in line with where we're currently budgeted. The 5-day is going to be, we're going to be looking at about $15,000 to $20,000 additional for the 5-day cleaning. And Jerome, correct me, I don't know, when I say 5-day cleaning, I'm not sure of the exact schedule for all of the buildings, but that was the proposal under the 5-day cleaning. Not all buildings are being cleaned 5 days. I believe City Hall and the Justice Center is included in the 5-day schedule, but that's going to work out to roughly approximately $15,000 to $20,000 additional. So that's going to put us over what we currently have budgeted for the current fiscal year, and somewhere in the neighborhoods of about $18,000. And that money would need to come from some savings or additional revenues from elsewhere in the budget that we had not at this time identified. But one thing to keep in mind, some of the, again, some of the things that are projected under the proposed contract, for example, the rec center has not been open. So I don't know exactly what the cost for that facility would be, given that we're not open and we wouldn't be incurring those costs immediately with the onset of the contract. But the main thing is the fact that the 3-day contract comes in right around $70,000, about $68,000, $69,000, which is what we have budgeted for the previous contract on a 3-day basis. And then on that 5-day basis for some buildings, that's going to take us up about $18,000 in additional money that we would need to find from the budget.
Question.
Go ahead, sir.
Why, okay, if we're struggling for money and I looked at the bid processes, okay, and that was not the lowest bid, okay? And from the lowest bid to what we're recommending is almost $32,000. What's the reason why we're going with the second lowest bid, okay, when the first lowest bid was lower?
Mr. Bibbins?
Jerome? You're,
He's still on.
Did we lose him?
Hello?
Yeah, Mr. Bibbins,
Yeah,
did you have a question?
Yeah, the host was had me muted. To Councilman Williams' question, we received several bids. They were sent out to a review panel comprised of myself, my deputy, a representative from City Hall, and a representative from the rec center, and a representative from the police station. We looked at all bids and we looked at what was the needs for the city of Inkster, and the lowest bid did not meet certain requirements we needed to ascertain them as a vendor. That's why I went to the second lowest bid.
So what were some of the things that the lowest bidder didn't have?
Well, they didn't have the proper, for one thing, they didn't have the proper staffing. You know, their staffing was very light. I mean, really light.
Hey, proper staffing.
Yes. So what they had was they had 2 managers and 2 employees, and they stated if they were awarded the contract that they would host a job fair to hire people to do the job. I've been down that road before, and I just couldn't put the city in that type of situation again, where we're dependent on them to hire folks to clean our buildings. That's just not a good way of doing business.
Yep, I agree.
Agree to pay $32,000 additional money without the facts being laid out?
Say that again, I can't hear you, Councilman Williams.
You were saying, they say they didn't have, why would they bid in the first place if they didn't have the manpower? That kind of bugs me right there.
I can't answer that question. I can only buy what they put in their bid package. That's the only thing I can go by.
Yeah, we actually had, Councilman Williams, we had several vendors that actually put in bids that were significantly lower, but they didn't even give us anything in writing as it relates to the bid package and what they would do for us. They just came in, walked the buildings, and then gave us a price.
I can understand that, Mr. Mayor, but I was looking at what they put down there and what they was offering versus the second person. I didn't really, maybe something I didn't see what you're talking about. So I'm just wondering why we're talking stuck up for money, $32,000 a year for the cleanup, and we're talking about going with the second bidder. And I was reading everything that they both was offering, so I didn't see the lack of manpower in it.
Mm-hmm. That's why you pay the administration to do its due diligence, and they've been going through this process for the last 2 weeks and having people in and out of the buildings, and they had a panel and they actually reviewed all of the package together, and this is what we're presenting to you right now. So, my question to the council is that if we're going to pay for 3 days versus 5 days, and the only reason why we were considering 5 days was because of COVID and the cleanup related to COVID. So,
Mr. Mayor?
Yes, please, Councilwoman.
I think Councilman Shaw was before me, but I do want to ask a few questions regarding the contract.
Okay. Councilman Shaw, Councilwoman Wiley yields to you. Did you have something?
No, I didn't have nothing. She's well.
Councilwoman Wiley, please.
Okay, thank you. First of all, where is this company from?
They're located in Detroit, Michigan.
Okay, and we were paying $68,000 or somewhere around there to the last people who were doing the cleaning? And that was for 3 days?
That's what their bid is. We were paying a little bit more than that this past fiscal year because we had a couple COVID cleanings in there around April and May at City Hall. So it came out to what we wound up paying Great Lakes this past year was $76,192 overall.
But Mr. Bivens, I think the question was, as it relates to what was budgeted.
What was budgeted for last year was 70, right around $71,000 for the current contract.
Okay, and I need a little clarity. The costs that are stated in the request for council actions are not the actual costs we would be paying for 5 days?
Yes, the cost that you see down there at the bottom, that's the actual cost for 5 days.
Okay.
That's 5 days for City Hall, 5 days for the Justice Center, 5 days for the Rec Center, and 2 days for DPS.
Okay, well, some of the listings that you have in the back that says how often they clean these, some are weekly, some are monthly. And
Right.
I guess I'm kind of confused as to how often certain things would get cleaned.
So what you have before you, when you look in the package, you see the breakdown of how stuff would be cleaned in each building. But what you have before you on the council request is the total cost, including those weekly, quarterly, and monthly cleanings.
But I'm wanting to know that I guess it would cost more if we asked them to clean certain things more frequently. I mean, right now we're in a pandemic, okay? So there are a lot of things that we have to go an extra yard for just to minimize our liabilities. In fact, you being, as you say, risk management, how does that figure into that?
So what you have before you in that package was all thought out in reference to COVID and cleaning. That's why you have a breakdown of what things would be done at certain times in the contract on a weekly basis, on a monthly and quarterly basis. That's the breakdown to ensure that we maintain the proper cleaning in each building.
We're talking about if we're referencing page 74.
Yes,
Mr.
74 and 75,
Yes.
all these different things that say weekly or monthly, some of the, and especially when you're in a pandemic, I mean, there's some things that you wouldn't let go for a month or a week without at least tapping them. So I want to know what would be the, how much higher would it go if some of these things were done regularly?
That I would have to go back to the prospective vendor and ask that question. But like I said before, when I broke this down, I took into consideration the pandemic, and that's why you see you get the general cleaning every day. Like the window cleaning and the floor cleaning, that's something you don't need to do every day. That's something that can be done on a monthly or quarterly basis because we don't have that much foot traffic in none of our buildings except for the Justice Center. And like Mr. Karen stated, right now the Rec Center is not open. So that's a savings there because we're not being charged for the Rec Center until it's decided when it's open. But each one of those buildings, if you see, has a specific schedule for cleaning and how they're cleaned. And that's just to address your concerns, Councilwoman Watley, to make sure that we're touching all those items at a particular time when they need really addressing and not over emphasizing or overstating on that, but just being specifically when we know that those, given past track records, even though we're in a COVID situation, given the past track records and looking at the history of cleaners of those buildings, that's how I put the best schedule I thought together as possible to address those areas of concern.
Okay, well, far be it from us to sacrifice. I mean, I understand what price is all about, but That's what risk management is about. If someone comes in here and catches something from the fact that things weren't clean, that makes us more liable than normally. So I'm just picking out one of these things that it says, spot clean doors, door frames, and light switches. And that's weekly. Is that right?
Yes, and that too falls on us as employees of the city when we're here at work. Like here at our building, we clean behind ourselves. We clean our phones and our computers daily. And they're doing the same thing over at City Hall. And I believe they're doing the same thing at the Justice Center. They have individuals dedicated to touch cleaning, you know, and then I provided the staff with cleaning for their computers and their desks. So we have to play a part in that too. It's just not all on the janitorial service. We have to take ownership too of our desks.
You know, if we're paying someone to do this, and we're also asking our employees to do it too, there seems to be a disconnect there. If we're paying these people this kind of money, all I'm asking is, can they up these weekly things? Or do you think it's a good idea during COVID to not do certain things and just take our chance?
I don't, and I think the mayor support me on this. I don't think we're putting the city at risk with the type of structure we've set up for the janitorial cleaning. And yes, I mean, if you check around with other cities, the employees have had training. Matter of fact, we had a session with our previous janitorial service, all the department heads, on things we could do to assist them in cleaning. And that was spearheaded by the mayor. So yes, we do have to do our part, Councilwoman Wiley.
I'm not saying you don't have to do your part. I asked you, was it fair to pay somebody to do something and then require your employees to do it too?
Well, we're just being cautious and careful in making sure that we meet the requirements needed to maintain a clean building. So that's us, and they're partnering with the janitorial service. I think that's fair.
Well, you're entitled to your opinion. I don't.
Okay.
Question. I want to
Okay. All right. That's it.
Question.
All right. Go ahead.
How much did we did we pay the former contractors we had out the year?
71,000.
Okay. And this contract is 93,479.
For 5 days. If we go to 3 days, it'll be 68,000. If we stick with the same contract we had, you know, pretty much the same contract dates that we had from the previous cleaning solution, is 71,000 that we spent last year with them that we budgeted. This year with the new cleaning solution for 3 days, the same type of work is 68,000. So we're asking the council, if you want to go to you want to do the 3 days, it's the same thing. It's in the budget. We're actually saving about $3,000. We actually up it to an additional 2 days for 5 days a week. If that's something that you want to do, is before you for consideration.
Question.
No, if you're gonna have cleaning, you might well not clean it at all. I'm through.
All right, Councilman Chisholm, what you say, sir?
Yeah, I'm gonna put my headphones in so you can hear me. Hold on. All right, I was gonna say, is it possible? I have a couple of questions in there, so you can just answer them, you know, as you can. If we went with the 5 days, because I see we have the two options for a 3-year contract and a 1-year contract. If we went with the 5 days, could we do it for a year and then come back and revisit it? Be it that whatever the COVID situation is, if it's been resolved, hopefully by then, like, you know, a vaccine and all of that. And then if not, we say, okay, we're gonna continue the 5 day or enter another 1-year 5 day contract, just depending. And then I know it does cost more. And you spoke of some funds that we received or may be receiving. Can we find out, I guess, first before we actually vote on either of the contracts, if we can use the monies that are coming to cover the overage. Like, say, for instance, right now you said at 3 days we are 68,000 a year, and if we do the 5 days, it's going to be an additional 15 to 20,000. Can we check with those groups or look at the language and see if we could take the extra money from there, add it on to what we've already budgeted, and that way we're not dipping any more into the general fund or savings or anything like that, to make sure that we could do a 5-day cleaning.
Mm-hmm. Makes total sense. I'm with that. I think that makes good sense overall. Chair, I'm talking about chairman. All right. Did you have anything else, sir? I'm sorry.
No, that was it. I just wanted to get that out there to my colleagues.
Yeah, we probably, I think that it's fair we can entertain the motion just to table it. I know we be tabling items, but we want to make sure we're doing due diligence. I mean, it just makes sense. We're talking about money and COVID. I mean, you're right. So those are two questions that we need to answer. So what's your pleasure?
Mr. Mayor, can I say something before you table?
Hold on one second. Go ahead, Mr. Bivens.
Yeah, if you table this, I would ask that it come back before council on the 28th when you have your study session, because the current contract ends November 1st. That's why I had a start date of November the 2nd. And we have to get those people fingerprinted and run through the police process. And I see Assistant Chief William Ratliff on here. He could tell you how long that process would take to get them all cleared.
Or maybe we just do maybe we approve the 3 days, and then we go back and negotiate if we come up with some more money. If the council approved that, it makes sense to approve that.
I'm fine with that.
Okay. I heard another comment from
me.
Yes, go ahead, Mayor Pro Tem.
Okay, so if we go with the 5 days, would there be the 5 days to clean the justice, police, DPS, and your office?
No,
Yeah,
ma'am.
go ahead, Jerome.
It would be 5 days at the Justice Center, Recreation Center, City Hall, and 2 days. The contract for 5 and 3 is 2 days at DPS, not 5.
Okay.
Yeah. And what I'm suggesting is that we approve the 3 days because we stay way within our budget, which we budgeted 71,000. This new contract comes in at 68,000 for the 3 days. That way we can transition out the old company, start with the new company on November 1, and then we come back to the body when we found some more money as we go through the budget process on the 28th for 5 days.
Mr. Chair.
Please, Mr. Shaw.
And this is something that we definitely need to look at when we try to get the panels together to make sure that we can find some negotiations going on with these contracts. I think one of my colleagues had made mention, looking at some more options, maybe a 2-year, or 1 year, or, for 5 days or 10 days. Or my colleague made mention of daily cleaning. These are things that we need to, look at when we putting together these panels.
Yeah, we did all of that, sir. I mean, we had 15, I believe it was 15 companies, Jerome, that came through.
We had 13 companies to go through, Mr. Mayor.
Yeah, we did go through all of those as it relates to that. It's just really just finding the money, and making sure that we can pay for 5 days because of COVID, and understand that that's the only reason why we're saying 5 days versus 3 days, because of COVID.
Yeah, and I understand. I mean, but right now in this situation, we can't rob Peter to pay Paul either. You understand? So if we're going to recognize some savings from the recreation center, then we should have those numbers so that we can look at even possibly going for the 5 days.
Yeah, and that's what we're suggesting, that we say 3 days right now. When you say 3 days, we go back as administration with the treasurer, of course, looking to see exactly where we can pull the money from if we can, and then present it back to the body to amend the contract at a later date. But because of time constraint with the old contract becoming null and void November 1st, we would like to approve this contract tonight for the 3 days for the $68,000. If it
Now,
pleases.
also one more thing, Mr. Chair.
Yes.
Now the cleaning supplies, are we going to supply the cleaning supplies, or they're going to come with their own cleaning supplies?
They come with their own, sir. They come with their own. That's built into the price. Did you hear me, Councilman Shaw?
Yes, sir. I got you. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Is there any other discussion?
Yes.
Please, go ahead, Councilwoman Wiley.
In reference to what Councilman Shaw just said about the cleaning supplies, it says here that supplies will be purchased by the contractor and will be included separately in a monthly billing. So explain that difference, because he just said they bring their own. This kind of indicates that we will be paying separately for them. So which is it? How am I reading this wrong?
No, ma'am. That line should have been straightened out. I thought I sent you the one that was stricken out or strike out, because that price that you see before you includes the cleaning service, cleaning products too. So
Okay,
that line should have been removed. Yes, ma'am.
So this separate billing shouldn't be here.
No, it's
Okay.
null and void. Yes, ma'am.
All right.
Okay, Mr. Mayor, I have one more question.
Yes, ma'am.
As far as the rec center, is the rec center open
No,
currently right now?
no, ma'am.
I said, so when do you expect for that to be open?
It's just with the executive order as it relates to, the rec center is more so used for gatherings, family gatherings, functions of that nature with large bodies of people. So it's just really just following the executive order as it relates to COVID. And then, of course, conferring with this body on when we open back up the complex.
Okay, so in that case, since the rec center is not open, will we will still be paying for something that they're not?
No.
We'll be paying for something that
No, ma'am.
we won't?
No.
And I understand too, the rec center budget supports its janitorial service. So
Okay.
that's part of general fund. So yes, that would be a savings, because the rec center would not be utilizing any funds until they come on board. So those
Okay.
monies would not be utilized. Only monies would be utilized is general fund and DPS.
Okay. Let's see. I guess that's it then. So City Hall will be clean 5 days. And if that's all of the office, or just in the front when we have our residents come in?
That's the entire building. It would be clean. So that would be all of the offices that are utilized right now.
Okay.
Yeah. Plus the area where our residents are coming in.
Okay. That's all I have. Thank you.
So calling for the question to approve the contract for the 3-day option.
Okay.
Is there support?
Support.
Any discussion? Roll call, please, City Clerk.
Councilmember Chisholm,
Yes.
Councilmember Shaw,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Howard,
Yes.
Councilmember Washington,
Yes.
Councilmember Wiley,
No to the 3-day.
and Councilmember Williams.
No.
Mayor, we have 4 yeas and 2 nays.
All right, motion carries. Moving right along.
Item D is consideration and approval of an offer to purchase 3508 Harrison and 3 adjacent vacant lots, which are located on the east side of Harrison between Carlisle and Beach, and are legally described as duly noted in the amount of $7,500 to Key Management, Kimani Powell.
So move.
Support.
Is there support? Discussion?
Discussion.
Question?
Yeah, I was lost on the direction and I just want some clarity. It might be just a miswording. It said the east side of Harrison, and facing Michigan Avenue, the east side would be the odd numbers.
Old block club.
Right, that's the west side of Harrison.
Right.
So I just wanted clarity on that we were on the right side of the street.
That's right, west side.
Okay. I just wanted to.
Yeah, good catch.
And that's all I have. Thank you.
Anything else? Ma'am?
Here, I was just inquiring. They say they are going to be building a mixed-use business and residential buildings to allow living and meeting space. Do we have anybody here from this place who can tell us exactly what is going up in that location?
Stephen, if you can give them instructions if they are on the line.
Yes, it's what's the name of the group again, real quick?
Management.
Key Management.
Yes.
If anyone is on the line from Key Management, can you please press *9 to raise your hand so we can have you speak to these matters?
Kimani Powell was the applicant.
All right, they just raised their hand. Unmuting them now. We know it's there. We go.
Please state your name for the record, please, and then.
Hi, this is Stephanie Taylor from Murray's Real Estate Services.
Hey, Stephanie.
Hey, the applicant use for the building is mixed use, living space at the top of the building and meeting place at the bottom.
And from my understanding, the meeting place, one of the things that we were talking about as administration talking to the applicant was that the meeting space should be dedicated to the Southwest Block Club. So they're in agreement with that.
Yes.
Because this is the old Southwest Block Club's building. Councilwoman Wiley, you have more questions?
I guess I'm just trying to find out what's going to be there. And I understand they're going to put a building and meeting space is going to be there, but this is not a commercial enterprise, is it? Or like retail, stuff like that?
It's mixed use. So you could have retail, you can have living space. But this is going to be a social meeting space and then living space over top of it.
Okay, well, we're just concerned with selling the property at this point because they'll have to go through planning for everything else. So we can find out at that time exactly the proportions and things of that nature.
Correct. And this does have just a reversion clause in the deal. The person that's actually on the line, of course, is Stephanie Taylor, which represents the city, but also too, she presented this to us for sale. So we definitely had those clauses in place as well.
Okay, and I just have one quick question, and it may not be germane, but when was the last time? I know we sell unimproved lots for 250 and vacant lots or stuff with 500. When was the last time we had those property values assessed?
Yeah,
you have to check with. I'm sorry. Are you talking to me?
Go ahead,
you will have to. Hello?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. You would have to check with the assessment office, you guys' office, to see how often do they do assessments. But I know they send out assessment, but by that property being owned by the city, I don't know how the assessment office there at the city of Inkster assess you guys' property. So that's something that you probably would have to check with them. However, the reason why those adjacent lots to that particular building is because it's the parking lot in a very, very tiny lot. and you need parking.
Mhm.
Okay, that's it.
All right, any other discussion?
Mr. Mayor,
Yeah, please, go ahead.
wasn't this building on the demo list?
Yes, it was.
Okay.
Yeah, it definitely was on the demo list. But we're actually finding a lot of properties that were on the demo list that, you know, actually could have been rehabbed, you know, for whatever reason that the old administration along with the building department put them on there. You know, as I sent out the new building officials and sent out, you know, our, of course, working with Ms. Taylor and Mrs. Bishop, and actually having people walk through these buildings, you know, like, hey, you know, we can fix them up, you know, and of course, give you some money and put them back on our tax roll. So that's what we're trying to initiate. So we're looking at $7,500 going into our coffers, and then plus, of course, initiating taxes that we haven't collected on this building in quite some time.
Okay. That's all I have.
Hearing none, roll call, please.
Councilmember Williams,
Yes.
Councilmember Watley,
She's muted.
Councilmember Watley,
I'm sorry. Yes, but I needed to ask a question. This isn't a nonprofit, is it?
No.
Okay, thank you.
Councilmember Washington,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Howard,
Yes.
Councilmember Shaw,
Yes.
and Councilmember Chisholm.
Yes.
Mayor, we have 6 yays.
All right, next piece, please.
Item E is consideration and approval of an offer to purchase 2 vacant residential lots, which are located 2 adjacent parcels located on the east side of Hickory Avenue between Cherry Ave and Elm Street, as duly noted, in the amount of $1,000 to Anthony Paisley.
So move.
Support.
Any discussion?
Just one quick question. It says that he wants to use the additional property for storage. Now, is he building a storage facility to put things in, or is he just storing stuff on that lot? Do we know?
Well, he'll have to come into planning and of course talk to us about anything that he would want to do in addition to the property itself. We know that.
Oh, we don't know. Okay.
Yep. All right. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Shaw,
Yes.
Councilmember Shaw,
He said yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Councilmember Washington,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Howard,
Yes.
Councilmember Chisholm,
Yes.
Councilmember Watley,
Yes.
and Councilmember Williams.
Yes.
Mayor, we have 6 yays.
All right, moving right along.
Item F is consideration and approval of one offer to purchase 2 vacant residential lots, which are located right next to each other on the west side of Harriet Avenue between Beach Avenue and Cherry Avenue, and are legally described as duly noted in the amount of $500 to Mr. and Ms. Virgil Taylor.
So move.
So move, Mr. Chair.
So it's been moved twice. Any support? You have no support for each other?
I'll support it. Let him
All right, so I'm good. In discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Councilmember Watley,
Yes.
Councilmember Shaw,
Yes.
Councilmember Williams,
Yes.
Councilmember Chisholm,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Howard,
Yes.
and Councilmember Washington.
Yes.
Mayor, we have 6 yays.
All right, item G, motion
Item-
carries.
Item G is consideration and approval of one of 2 offers to purchase 2 vacant commercial lots, which are located right next to each other on the west side of Middlebelt between Glenwood Avenue and Oakwood Street Avenue, and are legally described as duly noted in the amount of $6,100 to Carrie V. Roden.
So move.
Support.
Is there discussion?
I just, oh,
Councilwoman Wiley, go ahead.
yes, I just wanted to know, it says here that they need the extra to expand the parking lot. So this is a business?
Yeah,
It's next door to the barber shop, in between, what is that, Hazelwood? I want to say Hazelwood and Glenwood.
no, Glenwood and
Parkwood.
Oakland.
Is it Parkwood?
No, Oakland. I think it's Oakland.
No, that's a little bit too far down. This is
It might be the one down further. Hazelwood and Hazelwood and Glenwood.
Yeah, yeah.
It's one
Yeah,
there.
I'm
another one
pretty
down.
certain of that. It's
Yeah, it's been Wood.
Wood and Hazelwood. Yeah, the barber shop that's been there for years next to the cleaners.
You said next to the cleaners?
Right. So you got the
'Cause
cleaners.
on
adjacent to
the
barber shop.
on that side of Middle Belt, there's tons. There's Bubba's, there's a whole bunch of
Next to
other
Bubba's. Next to Bubba's.
Okay, all right, okay. Thank you. That's it.
All right. Any other question? Hearing none. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Chisholm,
Yes.
Councilmember Shaw,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Howard,
Yes.
Councilmember Washington,
Yes.
Councilmember Wiley,
Yes.
and Councilmember Williams.
Yes.
Mayor, we have 6 yeas.
All right. Motion carries. Item H.
Consideration and approval of an offer to purchase one vacant residential lot, which is located on the east side of Ash Avenue between Cherry and Elm, and is legally described as duly noted in the amount of $1,500 to Anthony Paisley.
So move.
Support.
Moved and supported. Discussion. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Washington,
Yes.
Councilmember Williams,
Yes.
Councilmember Wiley,
Yes.
Councilmember Chisholm,
Yes.
Councilmember Shaw,
Yes.
and Mayor Pro Tem Howard.
Yes.
Mayor, we have 6 yeas.
All right. Motion carries. This brings us to the item in the agenda for public participation. You will be afforded 1 minute. Councilman Chisholm, if you could please tell them how it's done so we can move it along.
For those who have dialed in via telephone, press *9 to raise your hand. I see Octavia Smith has raised hers already, and I know earlier, right in between orientation and going into the regular meeting, Wall had her hand raised too. So just to give you a heads up, we do have 2 people with their hands raised right now. But for callers that have called in, please press *9. I think we are streaming live on YouTube. You can't participate that way. So I know you're watching, but you would have to dial the number to call in and press *9 if you had anything as well, YouTube and or Facebook. I'm sorry.
All right, let's recognize you got the first caller.
Yeah.
All right, Ms. Smith.
Hi, good evening, Mayor, Council, residents. Glad to see and hear everybody's voice, the ones that I can see. Calling on behalf of Western Wayne Family Health Center to let you guys know that we now have flu vaccinations Monday through Friday up until 7:00 p.m. And they are free that I am aware of, and with your insurance, of course. And if there's anyone in the city of Inkster who are needing COVID testing, Western Wayne Family Health Center can come to your location. They can set up, and so you can set up a COVID testing and a flu actually testing in an area where you would like to have it. So if you want any of that information, please contact us at Western Wayne Family Health Center, 313-561-5100. My extension is 139. Any questions?
Thank you so much for all the work that you guys do over there at Western Wayne. When you guys, when you guys are starting back into your exercise stuff?
No, the only exercises we are doing now are online exercises. If anyone is interested in the links, I can send them to Mr. Troy, and you can do it on Zoom. We do have Zoom exercise classes, but not anything in person at Western Wayne Family Health Center at this time. No in-person classes at all.
All right, definitely send that information out to us and we'll get it on our website.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Councilman Chisholm, next caller, please.
All righty.
Sergeant Wall.
Good evening, Mayor and Council, Administration, and Inkster citizens. I just wanted to take a minute and tell you what code enforcement is currently doing in addition to their regular duties. We are currently sponsoring a Halloween decorations contest. So while on patrol conducting the regular duties, officers took note of homes that are going all out for Halloween. And those residents, comprised of homeowners and renters alike, were notified via letter. We had initially selected approximately 10 homes. Of those 10 homes, 5 have returned the release to use the photo of their homes for the Facebook contest. Photos will be posted on our Facebook page, City of Inkster Ordinance Enforcement and Animal Control. And voting will open this Wednesday at 5 p.m. and close at 5 p.m. on Wednesday, the 28th. Winners will be determined by public reaction on each photo, basically likes or hearts on the Inkster's page, or excuse me, our page, the Ordinance Enforcement page. And first and second prize winners will be notified and awards awarded on Friday, the 30th. I just wanted to have a little fun and take maybe some seriousness away from everything that's going on right now and try to create a little community interaction. And I have to thank Officer Vasquez for this great idea. That's all I have.
Thank you so much for the work that you guys are doing, the work you continue to do in the community is definitely noticed. Well, thank you so much. All right, next caller.
Hi, yes, this is Charles Blackwell. I wanted to state that I don't know if the city council members plan to attend any Halloween parties this year due to COVID, but if they do, I think that Reverend Williams, he could be John Witherspoon for Halloween. And my second comment is that Mayor Wimberly, he follows the strip club Playground Detroit on his Instagram page, King Solomon. And I find that problematic that a mayor who calls himself a biblical name of King Solomon would be following a strip club page on his Instagram account. And that's all that I have to say.
All right, thank you, sir. All right, Stephen, do we have anything else? Councilman, do you see anything else?
I don't see any other hands raised.
All right, moving right along. City Clerk?
Good evening, residents. I just wanted to let the residents know that we have an official ballot drop box at City Hall at 26215 Trowbridge, where you're able to drop your absentee ballot. We also have a drop box at the Recreation Complex now, 2025 Middle Belt Road, and you are able to also drop your ballot there. These drop boxes are secure. They are checked periodically throughout the day, but most importantly, they are secure. I also want to let residents know that all polling locations will be open on Election Day, November 3rd. Also, if you're interested in voting an absentee ballot, you can visit michigan.gov. You can visit the city clerk's office to request an application and be able to receive an absentee ballot. Thank you.
All right, City Clerk. So can I walk into City Hall right now? Well, not right now, but we open at 8:30 a.m. in the morning.
Yep.
Can I cast my vote?
Yes, you can. You are able to vote your absentee ballot at City Hall. If you come in and vote, you're issued an absentee ballot and you want to vote it at City Hall, you are able to do so.
Awesome. Also, too, I've been having people ask me about the Secretary of State, and if they don't have an ID, is it any information we can give to them? Just because I know you have to make a appointment now, and appointments sometimes may carry past, the elections.
Right. Some people don't have an ID. That's an issue that if you don't have one altogether, there's some paperwork that you have to do. But if you are a voter who is not in possession of your ID at the time, you are able to sign what we call an affidavit and sign that information, and you will still be able to be issued a ballot.
Okay.
Also, Mayor, I want to tell people to please pay particular attention to your ballots when you're voting them. In terms of, you can vote straight party on your ballot. You're able to do that, or you can go through and fill out any of the races that are on the ballot. Also, I would like for people to pay particular attention to turn your ballot over and make sure that you vote the proposals. A lot of times the proposals get forgotten. So please turn your ballot over and vote the proposals. Thank you.
All right. And then as it relates to polling locations, will all the polling locations be active?
Yes, yes, sir. All polling locations will be open. You are not required to wear a mask. The voter who is coming in to vote is not required. A lot of people do because they want to protect themselves, but the election inspectors will have masks, gloves, and all the necessary PPE in the polling location.
All right. And lastly, is Twin Towers still going to be combined at the rec?
Twin Towers will be at the recreation complex for this election only.
All right. All right. I'm
Mr.
pretty
Chair.
sure we have other questions, but you've been doing a wonderful job, City Clerk. You and your staff, hats off to all of the people that you got in City Hall working on behalf of the electorate here in the city of Inkster and the surrounding areas. We really appreciate the work that you're doing.
Thank you, sir. My staff has been awesome. I certainly appreciate them. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, and I know that I speak for all of us when I say that. All right, Councilman Shaw, I think you have something for us?
I just wanted Felicia to speak about if for a few minutes or a few seconds, the civic fund that she received to the city clerk's office.
Yes, sir. The city clerk's office received a grant from Civic and Tech Life. The grant was in the amount of $50,546. It will be used to purchase laptops. It will be used to pay employees and election inspector, election chairs, hazard pay. It will be used for PPE. It will be used to provide notices, additional notices that will go out to residents. It will be used for anything that I'm able. They give a list of things that I'm able to use the funds on. The funds came pretty quickly. I'm very grateful. I'm glad I applied for the grant, and the funds will be put to good use.
And that's job well done, city clerk. And also, if anyone needs to come into the city clerk's office for assistance, you'll be there to assist them. Am I correct?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Myself or my staff is always there to assist anyone. I mean, and I gotta thank the residents have been there. I mean, we open at 8:30 and they are there and ready to vote. I think today I checked in almost 2,000 ballots. So people are definitely voting. Thank you.
Yeah, great job. All right, City Treasurer?
No comments, Mr. Mayor.
All right, sir, moving right along. Mayor and Council.
Mr. Chair, I do have a quick question for the city treasurer. I
Well,
know he may.
Let's do this then. So this will be your time for your comments or your communication. So go ahead, Councilman Shaw.
Through the chair to the treasurer. Now you may mention a couple meetings ago about the estimated water bills. Do we have anything right now? I know you're talking about putting something together. Is there anything that has transpired thus far?
So we have changed for any estimated bills, we have changed the monthly estimate We revised that down based on the mayor's direction from 5 units a month to 3 units a month. I believe it was last week, we were notified that we have started getting a shipment of water meters that we have been waiting on those for months. And so we're now at the point where we're going to be able to start scheduling visits and provide a kind of an update on what steps we'll be taking now that we can go back in and begin, because we got a number of customers and residents who are waiting on us to replace their meters. So we only got a partial shipment, and we'll be soon providing an update on what the next steps will be and what the timing of those next steps will be.
Okay. All right. Thank you, sir. And
We
also,
are definitely working diligently on that, Councilman Shaw, to make sure we get that corrected. So we'll keep you updated and informed in our reports.
okay, I appreciate it. And I do want to say a job well done to the fire department. We had a few fires that took place on Parkwood Street, where residents was on the roof of their resident. And I just want to say job well done to our fire department for the things in which they do. I think the pastor made mention and prayed for our firefighters and our police department. And that's well needed for the things in which they are coming in contact with. So I want to say job well done to them. And also, Mr. Chair, on Corona Street, Crescent Street, West River Park Street, and also Lucerne Street and Harrison Street, police patrol. We definitely need police patrol on those streets. And also, Mr. Chair, you made mention about the bumps, speed bumps. Where are we with that, and how are we requesting those?
All right, Mr. Bivens, if you can speak to that, I'm really excited about that. We're moving right along, but go ahead, Mr. Bivens.
Trying to find my mute. Let somebody beat me to it. Oh, there he is.
Mr. Bivens? Is he on mute, Councilman?
He is. I was sending him the request. I was sending him the request to unmute, but if he's on the phone or anything like that, he won't be able to, accept the request right now.
Okay. Okay. Well, let me say this: that just I wanted him to speak to it just because he's been dealing directly with the matter. So we have Act 51 road funds money that we're looking to pay for speed bumps, but the speed bumps per the state, they had to be permanent. So we had a few solutions come before us. We think we found the one that's going to work for us, where there'll be the speed humps. They're half the cost of actually putting in an actual strip of concrete or strip of asphalt. We'll be looking at doing the rubber hump type of speed cushions like you see in the city of Detroit and other places, and they'll be actually bolted down. So the engineer, along with the director of DPW, are working on some numbers for us right now to bring before the council with solutions in the different streets that the police have identified along with the community at large, so we can bring before the council. So we're just waiting on that information to get back to us. So we just got approval from the state about 2 weeks ago, if that. I hope that answers your question to the best of my ability, but I'll make sure I get back with you, Councilman Shaw.
I appreciate it. That's all I have, Ms.
Yeah, but we're moving right along. All right. Councilwoman Washington, do you have anything for us?
I do. There's actually an event that the Inkster Democratic Club will be putting on this Saturday, the 24th of October from 3 to 5 p.m. And the National Urban League will be present, as well as Stands for Democracy, Wings a Million, and Mr. Pitt's Master Barbecue Truck. And also Western Wayne Family Health Center will be there to do no-cost flu shots, as well as COVID-19 testing. The things you have to bring to receive the flu shot is bring your ID and for the COVID-19 testing to bring the ID and insurance card. So we're just trying to do this final push right before election day.
And the location again?
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't even give you the location. It's 27020 Michigan Ave. It's the former Chase Bank.
And the time again?
3 to 5 p.m. on October the 24th, which is this Saturday.
All right, Councilwoman, you've been doing a lot of work in the community. I saw you had an event, what was it, last week, talking about mental health, or the week before last?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, 2 Zoom calls on mental health. Also, I have one more thing I totally forgot to bring up. There's been a concern of speeding in the area of Avondale and Division. So I just want to ask for more police presence in that area as well.
All right. And if it's speeding in Avondale and Division, boy, people are just trying to tear their cars up. So we're definitely working on Avondale as a street, but we'll definitely look at putting some more enforcement in that area. Then, of course, signage will come along with those speed bumps as well. So, all right. Anything else, Councilwoman Washington?
No, I believe there'd be one resident, or actually, you know what? I totally forgot another one. There'll be another event. I'm so sorry. Breast cancer walk. There's 2 residents from District 2 that plan to put on a social distancing breast cancer walk. October the 24th, same day, this Saturday coming, from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. And it will start at Colonial Park. The walk will start at Inkster Police Department and finish at Colonial Park. If you want to volunteer or be a part or have any questions or concerns, you can get in contact with Barbara Albert. Her number is 734-726-8115. So yeah, I've been busy.
All right, that's great. All right. Moving right along, Councilman Williams. You have anything for us, sir?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I have several things I would like to bring up. First of all, let me indicate to Mr. Black, who made a statement today about Mr. Williams. I don't have to emulate. I just want him to understand. I don't normally respond back, but I want him to understand I don't have to emulate anybody. I believe in myself, and I know who I am. So I want to make that clear. Number 2, the day I was at council, the Ministerial Alliance meeting, and Mrs. Wiley, she also was one of the persons that spoke today. Now, I felt very disadvantaged because the simple fact is, if we're supposed to be a council, then there's things that we need to talk about and discuss. And then if we disagree, then we can go out and tell the public that these are things that we disagree on. Now, you know, I noticed, and I'm just saying this off the record, that the mayor and I guess Ms. Wiley be having all these meetings about this medical marijuana, okay? Which the package that we got, it would be unfair because the simple fact, the package we just got last week, you know, we got to go through all of this, okay?
Did you say the mayor? Did you say the mayor for point of clarification?
Yeah, I said the mayor and Mrs. Watley have been discussing this. This is where I understood it. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Okay. About this proposal that you're supposed to be putting on there. And I want to get clarification because I had to come home and call the clerk, because if I'm not mistaken, the past council went on record of going along with recreational marijuana.
That's correct.
Okay. And I heard a little different today. Okay. And so just like I said, a lot of times, I don't know, trying to bring up people in the community about, you know, floating in the community, I think was wrong. Okay. Now I think if we're going to be a council, let's be a council that's going to sit back and discuss matters before we take it to the public. Okay, because I didn't think that should have been brought out in the public day, because a lot of us I know on council, I'm just speaking for myself and some others, we're not really familiar about the package, the procedures that's going on that you're presenting to us, because you haven't presented, you give us copies to go over and stuff like that, and we haven't had time to discuss it, have conversation about it, okay? And then, you know, I'm sitting there personally as a council person, got to hear this, and then I guess they're saying, well, what I really have to say about it, because the simple fact is, all I know that the former council passed it, okay?
Yeah.
Okay, and my thing
just
is,
for point of clarification, it relates to the mayor's office and packets being shared with other council members. We haven't done anything as it relates to that. The only thing that's been coming up is, of course, the planning commission meetings, which we actually had on the 12th, and then we'll have another one on the 26th.
Well, let me clean it up by saying this. I don't know how much she got all this information from, okay? Because I haven't been previous to all of the information.
Well, it's not from me.
Okay, and my thing is, okay, I think we all should be privileged to whatever we're talking about. See, I don't need nobody going out there making people think that I'm for this and I'm for that. If I'm for it, I not speak for myself. I don't need no spokesperson. Okay, and I thought it was unprofessional that took place today. Okay, I am a clergyman. I sit on that clergy with pastors, and the things that were shared today, you know, I think was uncalled for and it was unfair. Okay, I just want to bring that out on that position. Okay, I'm glad to hear that you're talking about looking into the consideration, because I've had a lot of people talk to me about the speed bumps. I even took pictures. I sent some of them pictures out about some of the speed bumps like they got in Detroit. Mr. Mayor, he's seen a lot of them. Okay. The mayor's office called me about Mrs. Day. Mrs. Day called me. I guess she was one of the ones that they were trying to rally up to discuss about increasing the recreational marijuana facilities and various things like that. And I told her she wanted to organize people to fight against it. I say, well, first of all, you know, we're talking about fighting against something that's already in the making. You know what I'm saying? So,
right.
So I explained to her how far they went and where it's at now. Okay. So I just wanted to bring that part out. All right. And I would hope that we can actually have better communication than going out in the public. And then, you know, you get there and to me it was a surprise, you know, because first of all, I'm studying going over this big thick page of documents I got on the medical marijuana procedures and ordinance. Okay. And for me to be, and for that to come out today saying that like the whole council and we're gonna fight back and stuff like that, I thought it was unprofessional. I just wanted to say that. And I hope we don't have to go through.
What meeting are you talking about, Council?
I'm talking about the Minister Alliance meeting today. Mrs. Watley went on there and she was trying to convince them about that we're going to turn the whole city into medical marijuana and various things like this. And it was stated that you know, then she made a statement that I had to go back and call the clerk about today, saying that they didn't pass a recreational marijuana. And I know it was passed because I was at that meeting. Okay.
Yeah,
so
that's true.
I need her to clean that up. You see what I'm saying? So don't go around here saying that we passed it, because we didn't. Okay.
Yeah, we're just trying to actually implement the rules.
We got on board.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm just saying, you know, we don't need these what they call contests where we're going to be fighting and feuding against each other. We can sit down across the table, because first of all, I thought it was premature. If we're going to talk about the medical recreational marijuana, let's get across the table and let's talk about it. Okay. All right, and let's see where we're going to take the city, and let's do it in unity.
And that's the meeting that
trying to tell things that we're doing, the council, because I you know, she kind of made it feel like the council was being put on the spot, you know.
Yeah, well, that's the meeting that we're supposed to have on the 27th for orientation, well, not a study session for what comes out of planning, because nothing has come out of planning as of yet.
Yeah, I understand that part. But what I'm saying is I don't have to go nowhere and hear something that I should be able to, as a council person, be able to explain anything, situation to come up into the city of Inkster I should be able to explain it. I should know about it.
Correct.
Okay, as a council person. So we're gonna have that kind of gathering. That's what we should have. Okay, seems like she knew all about it. I mean, well, I guess they voted on it, so I guess she should have known about it. But I think, in fairness, we should all have the opportunity to know about it, or what we're gonna do about it. That's the only thing that I had to say today, Mr. Mayor, and I just wanted to bring that out because I feel like we should try to work together. If we can disagree, but we shouldn't be disagreeable. Yeah.
All right, sir. Thank you. Councilwoman Wiley?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Now, I've been told not to respond to certain things like that, but I have to say that I did not say anything at the Ministerial Alliance meeting that was not in our packet since August. And if Councilman Williams didn't know about it, he didn't read it. I was speaking of the same things I've been speaking for weeks, where this 124 ordinance is concerned, that we should combine medical, eliminate microbreweries, take out consumption, and take out planting events. That's what I said at the Ministerial Alliance. And if the council person didn't read his packet, he can't blame me for that, okay? And the only other thing I wanted to say, because I don't want to get into it with him, because he obviously doesn't understand, that I wanted to remind the citizens to come to these meetings so they'll know what we're talking about. On the 27th, I've told you for weeks, I'm taking surveys from people. I have a young lady who called me and asked me, could she start a petition? I am merely asking what the citizens want and attempting to do what they want me to do, because that's what I do. I represent them, not special interests. So I urge them to attend the study section for the marijuana, along with the budget meetings, because this is the only way, especially in this COVID situation where we can't meet publicly and people can't come out and express their displeasure. You have to attend these meetings if you want to know what's going on within the city. So that's it for me.
Okay, Mr. Mayor?
No.
I'd just like to say this. I read my packages, I understand it. I'm reading the medical marijuana and the recreational marijuana, because it's a big issue in this city for her to understand. And what I didn't understand is when we go there and we make statements that it's not true. That's the only thing I wanted to bring out tonight. Okay, and we all have made. Now I don't believe that we all made any decisions on the medical recreational marijuana. Okay, so I'm looking at all this that has been said today, which I read. I couldn't comprehend any of it. You're right. I couldn't comprehend it because I know it wasn't passed by a council. Okay.
Right. All right, then, guys, we can go back and forth all day. Let's move forward. Councilman Chisholm?
Yes. Excuse me. The Chamber of Commerce is doing their calendar ad, and I believe today is the final day. I'm sorry, the final day to submit the ad is tomorrow, 10/20, and that's for the 2021 calendar. If you would like to still submit an ad, you can email them at inksterchambercalendar@gmail.com. Again, that's inksterchambercalendar@gmail.com. Also, I know at different times throughout the community, well, I'll put it this way, Mr. Mayor, and you've noticed it too, the city planner in the past and certain commissioners have asked, how could we get the community more engaged at our planning commission meetings? Because normally when we vote on stuff and recommend it to council, it comes to council for the final end all. And I know before Mayor Pro Tem had actually asked as well, how do we know what's going on? Because we don't understand sometimes half the stuff, that may come from the planning commission level, because we're dealing with it at a different capacity. And Councilwoman Wiley has made that same reference when she talks about site plans. So with that, I kind of dropped the ball, if you will, because I hadn't been announcing publicly, you know, when COVID hit, when the planning commission meetings were. So I would like to start that up again and just let everyone know the planning commission meetings are the second and fourth Mondays at 6:30 p.m. Of course, we are meeting virtually still. And I just invite you to come out, listen in. Well, not come out, but tune in virtually. The public notice goes out just like they do for the city council meetings. That way you have a little bit more time to understand what's going on with these processes, because a lot of the stuff like public hearings, ordinances, text amendments, they start at, you know, with the administration and or planning. They come to the planning commission and then they come to council. So you have multiple opportunities to inwardly digest this information, but I just want to make sure that everybody has an opportunity to understand and mark your calendar so you will know. And I believe sometimes the city clerk also forwards the agenda from the planner or from the planning department to council, so you're privy to that information. Again, that's second and fourth Mondays of the month at 6:30 p.m. Right now we're meeting via Zoom. We normally usually meet in person in council chambers. And the last thing, I know we have a slight delay with this technology thing, Mr. Mayor. So one hand did go up right when he was switched over to the city clerk, just to give you a heads up. And that's all I have.
All right, sir. I appreciate that. Mayor Pro Tem Howard.
I don't have anything tonight.
All right, and let me just say this, the census for the most part has been completed. Just want to thank Curtis Barge and the Complete Count Committee for all the work, the city council members also too for all the work that you did and trying to get people to participate in the census. You know, out of all the communities like ours, we were number one. I take pride in that. However, I know that we could have done better. And we're just going to continue to push. There are a few actions that's happening right now to see if we can get a little bit more time to do some more census numbers on our census track. But I just wanted to publicly thank Curtis Barge for leading the way in that effort. Also, too, of course, vote. Voting is the most important thing outside the census that you can do for your community. We need for you to vote. Your vote counts. Your vote matters. So with that said, let's move right along. Anything else for closed session, Mr. Jones? Do we have anything else?
No, sir.
All right, call for adjournment.
Motion to adjourn.
Your support?
Support.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All right, motion carries. You guys have a good rest of your week. Thank you.